Baits I've got with me tonight, I've got some mackerel, got some squid, got some razorfish, peeler crab, bluey. I think the guys have got some sand eel. We got literally everything with us tonight to hopefully try and tempt out some of these hustle, if there's maybe a chance conger going along. But we've got to get the baits out there, give them a good soaking. I'm going to try and time my rigs probably maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes every cast, so I can keep a nice fresh bait going out all the time. So I'm fishing the big rigs tonight. I've got pulley droppers and I've got pulley pennels. So fingers crossed, hope the fish are hungry.
Morning everyone. So we have fished Gimblet Rock last night in North Wales. Unfortunately it was quite
Dire.
Yeah. There's 4 of us fishing. Brian's driving. Russ is in the back there somewhere, I can't see him. But we tried all sorts of baits. What baits did we try then, guys?
Mackerel, squid, sand eel, bluey, razor, peeler crab, frozen lug, fresh lug, all of the baits.
You name it. We were trying out for bullhuss and for conger eels, but it wasn't meant to be. So I guess we'll just have to knock that one on the head for another year. In fact, I don't think Steve wants to come back to it.
Not in a hurry.
No. So now we're heading over to a different mark.
So I'm just going to show you a couple of tips and how I do my bait presentation. Bait presentation is something I take a lot of pride in. It's one of the many things I enjoy about fishing, as well as the actual fishing and catching the fish. So I've got a bit of mackerel here, a little bit of squid, and I've got some pulley pennel rigs, just the snood lengths, so I can show you how I would do mine. So this one here, I've got 2 3.0 Cox and Rule Specimen X hooks. Great hooks, really like them, very strong. So we're going to do first, I'm just going to do the mackerel head, because I've already got a mackerel head cut there. So I cut my mackerel a bit of an angle, about probably a third along the body from the front of the head. And then what I would do is I take the bottom hook. Now I like to make sure that my hooks are both facing out at the same side. Some people like to have one way. For me, it just makes more sense that when it's set on the bottom, you have to facing out the same way, and it's less chance of it getting snagged or caught at the bottom. So hook the hook from the thickest part of the head at the front there, because it's a nice strong bony bait twine, just start wrapping it round. It'll start to slide off a little bit at the front there. Just going to get that round there, and then you want to try and catch up by the eye in the knot, so that when you start to catch it, you can start to put a little bit of pressure on the binding as you're winding it on, and then what that will do is that will just help to hold it in place. Now I like to pull the line tight across the top, and then it's just a couple of bands around the top there, and then I use this finger here and put a few bands around the back, so that when you pull your finger out, it all just doesn't slide away. Finish off with a couple more wraps there. So we have the first part of the head. Now with the second, or the top hook, I like to slide that down. Now I go once, twice, third for luck. Hook it nice and deep back through the top. Catch a couple of strands of the bait elastic, and then just pull it down nice and tight. So I'm just going to show you how I like to do a mackerel fillet or a mackerel finger, and then I'm going to couple it up with a bit of squid so I can make myself a nice streamlined bait. It's the sort of bait I like to use for rays, but we've been using it here while we've been in North Wales fishing for the huss. So I'll just show you how I do this. Now I go under the fin at the top, because it's always good to try and save the head, and I give it at a tight angle, a slight angle, because that can still be used as a bait. Then what I do, spin it round, cut the tail, just bin that off to the side. Now I come straight down the flank, down the middle, follow the bone line down, and I like to cut that, and run the side of the blade down the backbone, so that you end up with two nice big chunks of mackerel. Now, you can use that as a whole bait. You know, that's a very nice, thick, juicy, oily bait on both sides. Sometimes you can lay a squid up in there, just trim the tentacles off. Big bait for big fish. But on this occasion, I'm just going to make a nice small finger, and I'm going to lay it, and I'll show you how I bait it up in the spoon. So just run that down the back of the bone. Having a nice sharp knife helps. So we're going to use this nice fleshy bit of mackerel here. Now with the squid, some people like to scrape away the skin, because some people think it's a visual thing that, you know, you've got a nice white skin in there, but I'm not too worried about that. Now I just take the head off, leave all the guts in there. Now you'll notice in squids they have like a tough bit of cartilage in there. Now I leave that in there because that gives the squid's body a bit of rigidness. So what we'll do with the spoon, the snood I've got here, it's a 2 foot snood, and I've got a 3/0 octopus hook on there, Cox and Roll, and a 3/0 Specimen X hook as the top hook. Hook in the spoon and just try and hold that down nice and tight, because you don't really want loads of line flapping around in there. Now I lay the narrow end of the mackerel finger down so that when you're casting, it's more streamlined. Otherwise, if you have a big flat end on the other end, for me it's just the way I think it slows down the cast, causes it like some problems. Same with the squid, just lay that back up on top. Bit of bait elastic. Now the idea with this is not to go too tight, because if you go too tight on it, you'll squish out all the juices while you're wrapping it, but you'll also find that when you come to slide it off the bait spoon, you squish all the bait up and then you lose all the goodness and all the good bits. And then it just looks a bit messy and a bit scruffy. So just nice and lightly, wrap it around, not too much, but just enough to hold it all together. Snap that off. Now, thumb in the spoon, nice and gently slide off, set that hook nicely there. Now with the top hook, again I like to go 1, 2, 3 for luck, nice and deep, catch the bait and string there, pull that down nice and tight, and there's a nice mackerel and squid finger.
Right guys, so we are in a place called Trevor, which is North Wales. We've been targeting the Bullhuss. I've got all the guys here with me, Steve, Brian, Russ, and managed to pull out the first Bullhuss, which has weighed in about 8 pounds. It was caught on a mackerel and squid wrap using a pulley rig with 4/0 Cox and Roll rig hooks. So there you go, you can see its mouth, lovely markings.